Hello everybody and welcome back to CodeVis channel. Now in our last video we talked about the CSS colors, fonts and text, and we also talked about the CSS background. Now it's time to put everything we've learned to the text. But before we start, please always remember to like and follow and subscribe to our channel so that you'll be updated whenever we post a video. Okay? And don't forget, we also take on projects. So if you have any web projects, UI UX projects, even data analysis projects, always feel free to pass it on to us and we'll take care of it for you. Alright, so without further ado, let's move on to the CSS practical. What is the CSS practical about? We are going to take everything we've learned so far and put it to the test. That is, we're going to take our CSS borders, our CSS margins, paddings, fonts, colors, text, backgrounds, everything you guys have learned so far. We are going to use it to design an actual site. So let's design our first site. I'm sure you guys are excited to put everything to the test, so let's go. So as you guys remember, where we stopped at was this. Okay, I showed you guys how to do the background, and I showed you guys how to put a background in the section, how to put the background for the body, and make it so that as you're scrolling through your site, your background does not change. Alright, and then we also did different kind of fonts. I showed you how to link your fonts online and get your fonts from another site like fonts.google.com. So all these things, like I said, we are going to apply it now and design an actual website. So we're going to just design a site right now. So I'm going to come here as always. Remember, you don't need to delete this in your own system. You can simply comment it out, or you can create a new file. That is, you can go to your Explorer here, create a new HTML file, a new CSS file entirely, and actually do this practical along with us. Or you can simply comment it out, one of the two. That way it doesn't bother your code. But as for me, I'm going to remove it from my own code. Okay, so let's wipe this out completely. I'm going to leave this web body and this CSS font family, or do I need it? Am I going to need it or not? Let's leave it first. So let's wipe this out as well. I'm going to come back here and add our universal selector as always. I'm going to say margin, margin 0, padding, really I missed a 0. Okay guys, so are you guys ready? So the first thing we have to do is set up our site using the HTML. So we're going to put a few things there. Now I didn't want to pre-type the thing and bring it. I wanted to type it along with you guys, so that you feel like you're building right from the scratch. Okay, so the first thing we have to do in every body tag is to create the nav tag. That is to create the navigation section. I'm sure you guys know how to do this already. You do this by creating the nav tag in HTML. So I'm going to come and say nav.navbar. Alright, then I'll say nav.navbar is greater than div times 3. So this is actually a shortcut in VS Code. Alright, and as you can see from this comment that is here, this is what it's going to give us. This is called the Emmet abbreviations in VS Code. And what it simply does is in the HTML, especially in the HTML, all you have to do is type out the name of the tag you want, the name of the class the tag belongs to, and then the subclasses, the subsections that will belong to that class. That is, this greater than means, okay, inside this my nav bar, I'll create a div section. I'll create 3 div sections inside of it, and that's what this thing is showing me right here. You can see what it's showing me right here. We will do another tutorial video to understand how these shortcuts work in VS Code. So all I have to do is, after I type this, I'll just press the enter key, and this is what it will give me. It's a very nice little trick that VS Code has. So with this, I'll come to my first class and I'll give it the class of left menu. I'll give this one right menu. So I was meant to create only 2 div sections. Please pardon me. I was meant to create only 2 sections. We are going to design something simple for our site, not anything too complex for now. So this was supposed to just be 2 sections. Again, pardon me. So I'm going to press enter here, and I'm going to press enter here. Now let's move on. We've created our 2 sections called left menu and right menu, right? So I'm going to come to my left menu and I'm just going to give it a simple name. I'm going to say H1, and inside the H1 I'm going to put CodeVis. Now please, this is not our actual site. Okay, this is not our actual site. I'm going to make it small letter, CodeVis. This is not our actual site. Please, I'm just designing a simple site. I'm just using our company name, to do it. Okay, then I'm going to come here to this right menu. I'm going to say UL tag. I'm going to create a UL tag. Then in the U, I'm going to say UL greater than LI times 5 greater than A. Enter. And this will now give me hashtag. I'm just going to say hashtag. I'm not going to do anything. You guys know what it means when the href in A tag has the hashtag, right? So I'm going to say home, come here, hashtag about, come here, hashtag courses, that's what we offer, courses, about, hashtag services, come here, oh shit, hashtag, I'm going to come here and say services, I'm going to come here and say hashtag, and I'm going to come here and say contact. Alright, good. So we are done designing this nav bar of our site right here. Okay, let's go and check it out. This is how it will look like for now. So ignore how it looks like for now. Just ignore how it looks like. Remember, when you use HTML is simply for inserting the element. CSS is now to style it up. So how it looks like right now doesn't matter. This is not the final result. Okay, so let's carry on. Now, without further delay or further ado, don't mind me. Now we are done with the nav bar. Let's go and style up the body. So I'm going to come inside after the nav bar here. I'm going to come and create a section. I'll call this section. I'll say section.text. Let's just call it text, something simple. Then inside this text, I'm going to create a h1 tag. I'm going to say h1 again. I'm going to say welcome to CodeVis. All right, welcome to CodeVis. Then I'm going to come here and say h2. I said h2. Sorry. Yeah, h3. h3, and in the h3 we're going to call the text learn, so learn, ARN, build, learn, build, and create. I don't know, just create. Let's just put random contents there. Sorry. I'm going to come down and add a p tag. Then in the p tag, I'm just going to put Lauren 30. Okay, Lauren 30 is okay. Like I said, this is not our official site I'm designing right here. It is not our official site. We're just designing a simple site using HTML. We're using HTML and CSS. Using the HTML and the CSS we've done so far. Okay. So after this p tag, I'm going to come down here and add a button. I'm going to say button type. I'm going to say button submit times 2, enter. So it's going to give me 2 button tag right here. So I'm going to give my button the ID tag. I'm going to say ID button 1 and ID button 2. I'm going to come here and say sign up and see courses. Okay, sign up, sign up. Oh no, let's make this explore and see courses. That's okay. So we've done 3 things. We've created a nav bar, the navigation section. We've created a simple section that is going to be in the body, and now we're going to design a footer, a very simple footer. So we're going to do footer. I'm sure you guys have done the footer tag in HTML. So I'm going to say footer. Do I need to give it a class? I'll say okay, let's give it a class of page end. Then this page end, I'm going to give it 2 divs. I'm going to say div, right? Yeah, div. We say div dot left end, and instead of that, I'm going to put the copyright sign. So let's see. I'll say copyright. Then I'm going to put the. If you want to put the copyright symbol in HTML, all you have to do is and copy this. That is all. Copyright of CodeVis channel, or just CodeVis. And I'll put another div dot right end. I'm going to call this copyright of CodeVis, and the other one is going to say simple CSS practice. So yeah, this should be okay. We're going to work with this. Okay, so let me let you guys see it one more time so you can type it. I'm still going to leave this font family, this Google font stuff here, although I'm not really going to make use of it. That's the honest truth. I'm not going to make use of it. So I think I should just remove it or not. Remove it or not. Remove it or not. I might just have to remove it, but let's leave that one for now. All right, so copy, look, cross check your code one more time. This is the code here. In our body class, I left the, in our body tag, I left the class of web body from the last tutorial. Okay, it's still here. So we have the three sections. The first part is this nav here. Okay, the nav has a class of nav bar, and this nav bar have two subsections in it. That is the left menu and the right menu. Okay, div left menu, div right menu. Then after that, we have this section, and the section has a H1, a H3, a P tag, and two buttons in it. Then we have the third section, which is the footer, that has the class of page end, and it has the div left end, the other class of right end. So make sure everything I typed here is corresponding with yours, and then we can move on to the CSS. So please don't forget to pause the video so you can check it out. So I'm going to stand here for 2 seconds. I'm going to wait here for 2 seconds so you can copy this first part out correctly. 1, 2. Go down to the section of text so you can copy it properly. 1, 2. And come down to the section of footer here so you can copy it properly. 1, 2. So let's dive right into our CSS. Are they ready? So the first thing we have to do is target our web body generally. Now we need to actually get a good background for it. So I'm going to make use of the background we used the last time. That background seems fine to me. I don't know if it's fine with you guys, but it's fine to me. So I'm going to say dot web body. Now remember that when you use the dots, when you use dots in CSS, what you're trying to do is you're trying to target an element with a class. Okay, please don't forget this. Use the dots in CSS, you're targeting an element with a class. So this web body is a class, not an element of its own. It's the name of, it's the class of an element. So we'll give it width, not just width, I'll say max width. I've talked about max width for you guys before. That means the width shouldn't extend more than this. 100 VW, that is the view width. I'm going to say height should be 100 VH. 100 VH or just 100 VH or auto. Let me give it auto. That's automatic height. Then I'm going to give it background image. And I'm going to say background. Yeah, background. I'm going to put the image URL, and judging from the location, it should be this. So I'm going to say URL /images /banner2. Hope you guys don't forget it. This is the shortcut for adding the background image. So after you add the background image, what is next? You guys remember, right? I hope you do. So we're going to add the background image, the background. Oh, I forgot. This one allows to give the background size. Sorry, let's remove this. Let's instead come and add background image. The background image is going to be URL /images /banner2. Let's do it gradually. Background size is going to be cover. Then background attachment, I'm going to say fixed. We don't want it to be scrolling up and down. Okay, this is okay. And if we come back to our site, yes, it has the background we give to it right here. But I'm not done. This is not the only background we're going to give to it. Now I'm going to show you guys how to mix the background with a color. Are you guys ready? I know I haven't showed you guys this one, but I'm going to show you guys here right now. So you can mix your background with a color. So this background is actually okay, but it's way too bright. It is too bright for me. Alright, so I want to darken the background small, a little. So to do that, all you have to do is come here. After giving the background image, all you have to say is background color. I'm going to use hex code #000. This #000 is for black color. Nothing, no issues there. So now I've given the background color. If I come back to my browser, it won't really apply yet. No need to fret. Then I'm going to come and mix it up. To mix up this background color, you have to give it the property of background blend mode. Then the blend mode, I will now choose how I want the color and the image to what? To blend together. So I'll come here and say overlay. Guys, let this color overlay on the background image. And if you are a graphic designer, you know what this thing means. It's simply a way to blend your color with an image. And if I come back here, nothing is happening yet. So you can see now my background is totally black, completely black. You can't even see the image. Now just because you can't see the image doesn't mean the image is not there. This is simply saying let the color overlay on top of the image. That means my color has now come in front of the image. It is on top of it. but I have to make sure the image shows. So what I just do is I will come here to my background color. I will put my cursor on this little box here. Then the VS Code color selector here, do you see this bar, this little bar that is here? This bar represents the opacity of the color, that is the clarity of your color. So all you have to do is reduce it to reduce the clarity. So I'm going to reduce it down to here, and if I come back to my browser, boom, you guys can see the image clearly, right? And it's now slightly darker. That is because the black color is still on top of it. Okay, so this is the background blend. So this is how to mix your color with your picture together by just giving it a color and then giving it background blend mode. That is all. Then reducing the opacity of the color. That is not using a 100% opacity color. Just reduce the opacity and you have this. It's very easy. Okay, it's not too complex as you can see. Sorry. So now we are done styling up the background of the website. Let's move on to the navigation bar. So I'm going to come here and say .navbar. Again, we are targeting the element by the class of navbar. Okay, we are targeting by navbar. Then I'm going to give it width. So the width should be 100%. Now, when you use 100% and 100 VW, these two are different forms of measurement, as you already know. Now, by saying 100 VW, I'm saying 100 view width. That means 100% of my screen size. But this nav bar is an element that exists inside this web body. So by giving it width of 100%, I'm saying let the width of the nav bar be 100% of the web body. Okay, this percent here cuts out of a section. If you understand what I mean, when I say let this thing be 100% of this, that means this 100% or the 50% or the 20% is going to be 100% of this section, 50% of this section, 40% of the parent section. Let me explain it again. In this web body, I came and gave it the max width of 100 VW. This 100 VW means 100 view width. That is the view width of the screen size, regardless. Okay. Now, this nav bar is a subsection of the web body. That is an element. Sorry, is a child element of this web body here in our HTML. Look at it. The nav tag is a child element of the body tag here. Okay. So because of that, I gave it width of 100%. Now, this width of 100% is going to be 100% of this 100 VW here. Okay. So without further ado, I'll say now 100 VW. I'm going to say height should be 62 pixels. Then I'm going to say background color #000. I'm going to make it slightly darker. Okay. Come back here. This is what we have. Good. Okay. So then I'm going to make it transparent more. I'm going to come here and reduce the opacity a little bit. Yes. So now we have, yes, this is okay. I want it like this. I might remove it later. I might leave it. You never know. So now that I'm done with the navigation bar, what I have to do is now come and style up the two sections. That is the section of right menu and left menu. Now I have to position them. Now, as you know, my left menu and my right menu has to be sideways, not straight down like this. I can make my navigation bar come straight down. That is not wrong. But what I want to achieve is I want it to be left and right. So for me to achieve that, I have to change how these elements appear. Alright, I have to change how they appear, how they are displayed in my web page. And to manipulate this, we have to make use of a property called display property. Okay. So I'm going to come. Hold on. Yeah. So I'm going to come and say left menu. Alright, and I'm going to give it a property of float. Now, the work of this property of float is simple. It is used to help us align our elements either left or right. The float property aligns elements left or right. Simple. And the element is mostly sections. Just to say, okay, you go left, you go to the right. That is all. Nothing more. So I'm going to say float. I'm going to say left. I'm going to give it a width of 25%. Now this width of 25% is 25% of this 100%. This left menu is a subsection of the nav bar. So the width of 25% here is what? 25% out of this 100% that is here. And if I come back to my browser, what do you notice? These other links have started going up here. Can you see it? It is going up here. The CodeViz text is right here, and it's right. The other text is going up here, but we're not done yet. So I'm going to give it left and width. Let's see, that should be okay. Then I'm going to give it one more thing. I'm going to give it padding. The padding with the left menu, I'm going to say the padding top and bottom should be 12 pixels. Remember, in your padding, if you put 2 digits, the first digits will go to the top and bottom, the second one will go to what? The left and right. So I'm going to say 12 pixels by 16 pixels. That should be okay. Then I'm going to come and say dots. Now I want to target this H1 tag that is inside this left menu. Okay, I want to target this H1 tag that is inside this left menu. And in our HTML, we have more than one H1 tag. Can you say this? We have more than one H1 tag. Now to target, if I want to precisely target this H1 tag that is in the left menu here, I can't just use the element selector. That means I can't just come to the CSS here and say only H1, which is the element selector, and give it color white. If I do this, white, let's give it white. If I do this, it won't just affect, look at it, can you see that it affected this welcome to Codeviz and this Codeviz that is up here? Now I'm not saying that this is wrong, but what I'm saying is I want to target this particular H1 that is inside this left menu precisely. I don't want to target this other H1 that is here. Are you guys following what I'm talking about now? So this is what I'm talking about. I want to target this H1, not this one. So I can't just simply use the element selector. No. What I have to do is I have to come and target this H1 directly. And you can target this element without giving it a class or an ID or all that. Okay. If you remember when we talked about the element selectors, like when I talked about the CSS selectors, what I taught you guys was the 3 basic selectors, which are the element selector, the class selector, the ID selector. But that doesn't mean there isn't other selectors that exist out there, and we're going to touch one of them now. One of them we're going to touch is the descendant selector or the child selector. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this out. So the child selector, so to use the child selector, all I have to do is call out the name of the parent selector and then the child itself. So I'll come and say dot left menu, which is the class that contains the H1. Now this left menu is the parent element of what? The H1 tag. Then I'll say greater than H1. Okay, the left menu greater than H1. And with this, what I am saying is target this H1, target only the H1 that is inside the class of left menu. And if I come and give it color white, let's change this to hex code. If I give the color of white and you come back to your browser, you see that it's only this H1 that is here that has the color of white, not this little guy down here. Okay, so I hope you guys remember that. Now this is called the child selector, the descendant selector, whatever you want to call it. So let's move on. Actually, it's not whatever you want to call it, but it's one of those two. So let's move on. So now we targeted the H1. I'll give it color of this. I'll give it font family. You guys know what font family stands for. And I'll use my favorite as always, Tahoma. Now Tahoma is actually my favorite font. I don't know why. Just everybody has their own. You can actually look for another font. You can go to the Google and attach a font from online if you want to attach a font from online. I've showed you guys how to do it, and I believe you should know it. If you don't know it, you can go back to the previous video we talked about on CSS fonts, colors, and text. That is the CSS text, font, colors, and text continued, the part 2 video. And there I showed you guys how to attach fonts that is online from another site. So you can try that on your own. You can go there, practice it, and try it out. Alright, so we have font family, Tahoma. I'm going to come and do font size. Font size, I'm going to say 32 pixels. I believe this should be okay. And if I come here, my font family, my font style has changed and all that, but this is not enough. Let's see. I don't want this text to be small letter. I want it to be capital letter. So I believe you guys now we can do this already. Yes, we'll use the element of what? Text transform. Uppercase. Alright, so you can see our text is now capital letter. Capital letter code this. We are right on track. So we are done with this left menu. We start it up completely. So let's carry on. So now that we're done with the code V, the left menu H1, let's go and style up the right menu. So we're going to come here and say dot right menu. I'm going to give it width of 50%. That is 50% of what? This nav bar's 100%. Oh shit, no. Oh, sorry, I used the swear word there. Then I'm going to say float right. That is to position this to the right. Now I'm going to give it the same padding. Now the padding is going to be 12 pixels. No, let's make it 16 pixels by 20 pixels. Let's do that first. They will come and check it out. Now this is how this thing will appear. Now if you remember, in this video I just explained display property, which changes the appearance of elements in what? CSS. How elements appear in CSS. I talked about it, right? Good. Now as you can see, our L1 and the list items elements always appear in what? In a vertical format. You can see it clearly here, but we can actually make it appear horizontally. All right, now in HTML, by default all HTML elements has a display property of display block by default. And what display block does is that it makes your elements appear in vertical order. That is what display block does. By default all HTML elements has this property. That means once you put any HTML, once you insert any HTML element, naturally it has a property of display block, which means display vertically. But we can alter this in CSS. We can change it in CSS. Okay, so for me to change it now is for me to make it so that this list items here doesn't appear vertically but horizontally. I will come and target it directly. I'll come and say what? Dot right menu, that is target inside the right menu, target the UL tag, then inside the UL tag target the LI tag. Now the reason why I went to the LI tag directly is because it is the LI tag that has the property of display block. The UL tag is simply to tell the list item that okay, display in an unordered fashion. That is, the OL tag, the UL tag is for saying okay, display orderly or unorderly. But the LI tag is the one that has the what? The display block property in particular. So with this, I'm going to come here and say display inline block. Now this display property here has many other variables and we are going to touch them as we carry on with the course. So like I was saying, the display property has many other variables that we can use and we are going to touch them as we carry on with the course. But for now, we are just going to touch the what? Display inline block. And what this display inline block does is that it allows our elements to appear in a horizontal format, that is horizontally. So if I come back to our browser, what do you see? The elements are now what? Horizontal. Can you see, guys? See this? Yeah. So that is as clear as day. So now we need to now actually style up this text that is here. Okay, remember all HTML elements by default has a property of display block. Okay, but we can alter this using CSS, and that's what we came here to do. We gave it inline display inline. We gave it the property of display. Then we said inline block. That means display horizontally. That's what it simply means. All right, let's not dive too deep into it and all that. So with this, we have made our elements come what? Horizontally. So now all we have to do is style it up. That is our list items here. So we're going to do this. After this, we're going to now come and say list style none. Now this list style here is for what? Changing how the list items appear in what? In unordered lists. Okay, let me remove this. Let me give this thing the property of display block once more and come back here. Now you can see it's appearing in the vertical format like before, but the dots are not appearing. Why? Because I came and said list style and I said what? None. That means remove all the what? Remove every list style that is there. But we can actually change this. We can come and say list style, and if I move this, I'll say list style Georgian, GEOR, yeah, Georgian. And if I do this and come back to my browser, nigga, come on. Hold on. Did I spell it well? Yeah, I did. Hold on. Sorry. List style. Yeah, Georgian. Why is it giving me? Why give me the cool shoulder? Oh, nice. Remove this. Okay, yeah, you can see it now clearly. Yeah, it's the display block that was affecting. So list style dicks, and it gave me these little circles that you are seeing here, right? That is circle. List style of circle. So if I come and say list style Georgian, and I come back here, it has changed the unordered list and it's appearing with what? This set of symbols here. Now there are still other ones you can use to practice with it. There's list style. Look at it. There's Armenian, decimal isn't 0, Dix, Georgian, lower Alpha, lower Greek, lower Latin. There are lots more and all that, but I'm not gonna dive right into this topic right now. We'll talk about this topic later on in the course. Okay. So I'm going to, for now, what I just need is a list style none. That is, I don't want it to have any list style whatsoever. So I'm going to come here and say display inline block as I did before. I've explained what this one does already. I'm going to come here and say list style none. And now that we've done this, boom, the list items the list items icon will disappear. So after we've done this, now we have to come and target the A tag. All right, we have to come and target this A tag that inside this what li tag. So to target it in particular, what we'll say the right menu greater than ul greater than li greater than a. So that is target the A tag that is a child element of the li tag, that is a child element of the ul tag, that is a child element of the class of right menu. Okay, so let's come and style it up, since we want to style up the text directly. Now the reason why to do this is simple. If I come to this li tag and I say font family here, font family Tahoma, that is my favorite font, don't judge me. Okay, and I come back to my browser, oh sorry, hold on, Tahoma, and I say text decoration none. Can you see that the underline has not been moved here? This text decoration is for giving your text underline, overline, and other things. I showed you guys in the previous video on CSS colors, fonts, and text. But I gave it text decoration none, and this underline didn't remove. Why? Because this text is not inside it. Even though it is inside the li tag, it is not directly inside the li tag. It is inside the A tag, which is inside the li tag. So that's why we need to target it directly. All right. So I'm going to remove these two from here. We're going to come to the A tag here, and we're going to now style it up. We're going to say font family, and my favorite, Tahoma, font size 16 pixels, 16, yeah, that's okay. Font color hashtag triple F, that is white. Then I'm going to say padding, I'm going to say the padding should be 4 pixels top and bottom, then left and right should be 18 pixels. Then text decoration, I'm going to say none. So if we come back to our browser, so this is to give the color, this is the padding, and this text decoration of none is to remove the underline from our A tag. So if I come back to my browser, this is what we have right here. Okay, so this is good, this is very good. But something is off. This text should not be here, but it should be aligned at the end here. That is at the end of our website here. That is at the end of this nav bar here, not here. It doesn't look organized if it's right here. So I'm going to try and put it here. Okay, to put it there, all I have to do is come to the right menu, then give the property of text align, then I'll say end. Now the work of this text align is to change where the text comes in, is to what? To align our text inside our section. So by giving it text align end, I'm saying send it to the right side. There are three variables we can give it text align. We can give it text align start, text align center, and text align end. So start, when you give it start, that means align the text to the what? To the left side of the section, which is what every text does. By default, all text is aligned to the left side of the section. Okay, if you give it center, that means align to the center part of the section, and if you give it end, that means align to the right side of the section. So by giving it end, if I come back to my browser, you can see where my text has gone to now. It has gone to the right side of what? The left menu section. Okay, remember we did float on our left menu and right menu. We came and said let the left menu float go to the left and let the right menu go to the right. Okay, so that means the left menu is here, the right menu is here. All right, that's what we did. So with that, so now that we've aligned the text, this text has come to the edge that is here. Okay, so now let us style up the text in the middle here. So the style of the text in the middle here is actually not hard. All we have to do is come and target this section of text right here. All right, so I'm going to come and target it. I'm going to come and say dot text, that is the class of the section of text, and I'll give it width 60%. Oh, sorry, 60%. Sorry about that. Then height auto, that is automatically assign the height. Then we're going to give it one more thing. I'm going to give it, let's see, margin auto. Now I've explained margin auto for you guys. That means automatically assign margin all round. That's what margin auto does. So margin auto, then I'll give it margin top still. Margin top, I'm going to say 60 pixels for now. So let's see how it looks like. And yes, our text has come down here. You can see clearly now. Now the reason why I gave it margin auto and margin top is simple. Margin auto means automatically I assign margin all around. The margin top now I give extra margin to the top of the element. Alright, I showed you guys this in the margin in the tutorial video where we talked about margins and padding, CSS margins and paddings. I explained all this there, so I'm just summarizing it now. Okay, so our text came here, and again we are going to align this text to the center of the section. So what do? We give it the text align center. Now take note, this text align is not for aligning sections. It is not for aligning sections, it is for aligning text inside the section. Okay, so this text align center, now we align this our text to the center of the section itself. All right, so as you know, the next thing we are going to do is what? Style it up. That means we're going to start with the H1, the H3, the P tag. So let's not waste time with that, let's go right into it. So let's go to the CSS and do it. We're going to come and say dot text H1. Now we are targeting the H1 that exists inside the text class. So I'm going to say font family. As you know, I'm going to use my favorite font family. Don't judge me. I'm going to say Tahoma. I'm going to say font size 62 pixels. Let it be very big. Font width bolder. Now these three properties, we've talked about it in the CSS font, colors and text. So if you don't know it, please go back to our please go and watch the video. That is the video on what CSS font, colors and text, and you'll learn about the font family, font size and font width. I explained it there properly. All right, so let's check out how it looks like. Boom. Yes, it's big and I love it. So we'll give it the color of what? Color. We're going to say hashtag FFF for white. Good. So we're going to space it out a bit. I'm going to come give it one more thing. I'm going to say padding, top and bottom padding should be 8 pixels, left and right should be 12 pixels. Nothing too serious. Okay, yeah, now it's spaced out properly. So let's go and target what? The dot text, that is the targeting the class of text H3. That is the second text tag that appears there. So dot text H3. I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy everything here. Paste it. Now I'm going to change this 62 pixels here to 32 pixels. That is all. Then we're going to come down here and check it out. Right, very good. But it's not going to be too big. Let's change the 32 to 24 pixels. Then I'm going to give it one more property. I'm going to say word spacing. We talked about this in the CSS font, colors and text. That is to give space in between each word. Then I'm going to say 24 pixels. And that might be too big. Okay, that is okay. That is very okay. Then I'm going to come and remove this font width of Buddha that is here. And it shouldn't be bold. Okay, let's give it font width. Oh, it's a H3 tag, I forgot. Font width is a H3 tag, so font width will be lighter. We don't just remove it, we'll change the font width to lighter. Yes, the reason why I change it to lighter is because the font is inside the this thing is inside the H3 tag. This text is in a H3 tag, so naturally it has the bold property. I forgot about that, sorry. Okay, so we have these two texts and it's ready and I like it. So let's come and start up this third text that is here. All right, so let's start that up. We'll come down here and say dot text greater than P. That means target the P tag that is inside the class of text. As always, I'm going to give it font family, my favorite again. Don't judge me, Tahoma. Font size, this time the font size should be 18 pixels. Now I'm going to give it line height. I've explained what line height does. That means the space in between each line of text. I'm going to say 24 pixels. Now if you watch the video of CSS colors, fonts and text, I explained line height and I said line height is the line height property gives space in between each line of text, and it's always advisable to make your line height more than your font size so you can see the spacing properly, so you can see the spacing that is here properly. Alright, I explained that in the previous video, so please go back to the previous video to watch it. That is the video on CSS colors, fonts and text. So now I'm done styling it up. I'm going to come and give it the property of color. Color should be hashtag FFF. That is white as well. But I don't like this. My section is too wide. Let's shorten the section. So I'm going to come back up here to dot text section. I'm going to reduce this width from 60 to 50. Ooh, no. That is too much. Oh, you know what? Let's go to the H1 tag instead and add more text. Let's come and give it Lauren 20. Yeah. Okay, good. The text is more. That's what I just wanted. There's more text on it. That's all I wanted. You can ignore this I just did right now. You can do it yourself, but I prefer it like this. Let the text be more. So as always, I'm going to come back to the CSS. I'm going to give it padding of top and bottom 12 pixels, left and right 16 pixels. Now section is actually too close to the top, so I'm going to have to move it downward a bit. So as you know, I'm going to come up here to the text. Then this margin top, I'm going to move it from 60 pixels to 80 pixels, and let's check it out. Yeah, much better. So now let us style up the buttons. That's the next thing we're going to do. So I'm going to target the buttons by their element, and the element I'm going to target the buttons by their ID element. And to target an element by the ID, you make use of the hash character. So I'm going to say ID button 1. I'm going to give it width of 150 pixels. Height should be automatic, that is auto. Then I'm going to say padding top and bottom should be 12 pixels. Padding left and right should be 18 pixels. I want the buttons to be very wide. Then I'm going to say color of the text should be, let me say dark purple. There's no dark purple, I don't know the color, don't mind me. I'm going to say color of the text should be orange, but I'm going to use the hex code for orange. No, I'm going to use my own. I'm going to say hashtag CC5500. I'm going to say background color of the button should be hashtag 000. I'm not going to make it black actually. I'm going to come here. I'm going to target the purple color here. I'm going to make it dark purple. Yes. Alright, that's the hex code I'm using right here. So let's check it out in our browser. The color is off. Okay, leave it. Now I'm going to come and say font size for the text inside 16 pixels as well. Okay, then I'm going to do font family for the text inside Tahoma, my favorite. Come and check it out again, and it's better. Now this button still has a border, so we have to take away the border from the button. So I'm going to come here and give it font. I'm going to say border none. Now if you don't know much about borders, I did a video on CSS borders itself, so please go and check out the video on CSS borders. So yes, now this is okay. I like this. Yeah, so now we start up the left button. Let's start up the right button. But before I do that, I'm going to come and target this my text.p. I'm going to give it margin bottom. I want the space between this text and these buttons to be more than this little thing right here. So I'm going to come here and give it margin bottom. That is, add space at the bottom of the element, and say 20 pixels extra. So let's check it out. Nah, that's not okay. Let's make it 30. Much better. So let's start up the second button. Okay, let's start up the second button. So I'm going to just reverse what I did here. Now as you can see in this place, the background is dark purple and the color here is orange, dark orange. I'm not good with color names. Please don't be offended. So we're going to just reverse what we did here. That means in this second button, the color is going to be what? The background color is going to be this dark orange, and the color of the text is going to be this dark purple. So let's go and do that now. So I'm going to come back here to the button. I'm going to say hashtag button 2. Now to save us time, you can always copy and paste your code. Copy and paste is allowed in coding. So I'm going to come here and copy this, paste it here. Whoa, hello. Oh, paste it here. Then in this background color, I'm going to copy this background color out. I'm going to now say hashtag CC5500. I'm going to paste the background color here in the color instead. And if you come back, yep, that's a reversal. So this is okay by me. Okay, yeah, this is very okay. So let's space this out a little more. So I'm just going to come here and say button 1. I'm going to give it one more property, margin right. That's the space on the right side of the button, 20 pixels. Better. Let's increase it to 40 pixels. So that should space it out properly now. Yes. So all that is left now is to style up this little guy that is here. But before I style up the footer, as you can see, this color contrasts a bit too much with this whole place. So let's go and style it up properly. So I'm going to come up here to the background color of my body tag. That is the web body. I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste that color we used for our button. That is this color here, this dark navy color. Then I'm going to come up here and reduce the opacity of the color. Much better. Ooh, is it much better or not? I can't tell. It looks terrible. I'm joking. No, it's actually terrible. Let's see. Okay, let's add one more thing. Let's go to the nav bar and give it this color instead. Hashtag CC5500. For now, I'm just trying something else. Don't need to copy this part. I just want to make sure it works before I use it. Does this work for you guys? I'm torn. Let's make it slightly darker. And as long as I got my suit and tie, it's a little better to me. Okay, so let's work with this. I don't know how you guys look at this, but let's work with it. I want to use the color of our company, CodeViz. That's the problem, but it's looking not so good in my eye. I don't know why. Okay, so we've started up our nav bar, we've started up our text, we've started up our buttons. Let us now take care of the footer section. So this should be easy for you guys. It shouldn't be hard at all. So I'm just going to come here and say footer. I'm going to target the footer by the class name, that is page end. I'm going to say dot page end. Then I'm going to give it a width as well of 100%. I'm going to say margin top 120 pixels. Let's check it out. Okay, it's not at the bottom yet. Let's give it 140. That's much better. It's closer to the bottom of the web page now. Then I don't need to give it background color, do I? No, I'm not going to give it background color. Okay, you know what? F that. Let's come back here. I'm going to change you from that to black again. Then reduce the opacity. Then you're going to change it back to black, and reduce the opacity now. Much better. But you are not going to be black, sorry. You here in the nav bar, let's make you this. Yes, then reduce the opacity. Better. Then we're going to come to the footer now, this page end section. I'm going to give the background color. So sorry for the mistake in the changes I made. I was trying something out, it didn't work, that's all. So apologies for that. I know it might cause you guys a little bit of confusion. So I'm going to do background color, and we're going to paste the orange color here. Sorry, was the orange color the nav bar? No, the purple one. So let's come down here and put the orange color. Hashtag CC5500. Then reduce the opacity. Okay. And we should have, yes, this bad boy right here. Alright. We are not actually done with this. We're not done styling it up. After we're done styling it up, we're going to make sure it's at the exact bottom of the web page, okay? So let's move forward with the text. So we're going to come and say dot left end, which is one of the sections in the page end. I'm going to give it float left width 30 pixels, 30%, not pixels, 30%. Then we're going to say padding top and bottom. Padding should be top and bottom 12 pixels, left and right 24 pixels. That's okay. Then I'm also going to give it text align the text to the start, that is to the left side, which is by default is already there, but I'm just specifying it still. Then I'm going to say dot right. I believe we should make this come like this. Yes. Oh, hold on. I didn't put any other text, right? I put the text directly in the section. Okay. So I'm going to come and let's start up the text. And so I'm going to say font family. You already know the font family I'm going to use. My favorite, Tahoma. You can try out your own font family there. Font size is going to be 16 pixels like the rest. and the color, you should know, white, hashtag triple F. Thank you very much. So yeah, this is what I want. So let's go and do that for the right menu as well. So I'm going to copy this part here, just this part that is here. If I'm going to copy the whole thing, just copy the whole thing, say the right end. No, let's not waste time. Paste it. Then this float left, we're going to change to float right. The width is going to be the same 30 pixels. Then this text align starts with the text align end. That is all. Then if you come back here, this should be here. But what is going on? Our left end background color is missing. That isn't good. Our page end background color is missing. So I have to come here and give it height auto. I missed that property. Okay, and it didn't appear still. What did I miss? Okay, so I believe with this, oh wow, so the color went out, and I believe I know why. Yeah, I know why the color went out. The footer is actually working, so I know why the color went out. So let's check something quickly. Okay, I'm going to right click down here and I'm going to do an inspect. I'm going to click on inspect elements. Sometimes you might encounter problems in your code. There is no need to panic. You can simply inspect it to easily figure out where the problem came from. So I'm going to click on this footer section, and what do you see here? My text is currently outside of the footer section, which is a silly mistake on my part. This is where the footer section is, and the text is outside of it, which is not supposed to be so. The reason for this is simple. I'm going to correct it easily. Just come back to your VS Code, and I'm going to take this my value here for height of auto. Let's just take it out and make it 48 pixels instead. Let's give it a measurement of this one, 48 pixels. So if I come back, the color of my text is back. And what else do you notice? There's still a little bit of gap here. There's a little bit of gap, all right, between the section and the end of the page, and this is not what I want actually. This section should be at the extreme end of my web page. So I'm going to come and increase the margin top from 140 to, let's see, 150. Let's just try 150 and see what happens. All right, boom, done. And with that, I'm done styling up my web page. Now it doesn't look, professional. It doesn't look, standard, as you know, but this is just a simple practice that you guys can use to test yourself and try it out. All right, it combines everything we've learned so far and a little bit of extra. The only extra things I touched here was what? The inline block for this, the inline block for the nav bar here. That is for the list items here. Then for the, after we did the inline block, we did the float property. This is another thing I touched. Inline block, float, and the list style. That is the three things I touched newly here. But every other thing we've talked about, we've talked about it in what? In the CSS. Okay, so with this we are done standing up our site. You can see it's a little code-based site, nothing too fancy. It's just a little bit of practice, something you can easily do on your own. So you can take this and practice with what you've learned so far. Try and design other sites on your own, so that from the next video we're going to talk about other CSS properties and more. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Remember, we also take projects. We also take web development projects, UI UX projects, and also data analysis project, as well as other text projects. If you have any tech project, don't feel free to contact us and we'll get back to you on it. All right, so if you have any questions on today's video, please don't forget you can ask us in the comment section. I will definitely reply you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We are done with the video for today. I want you guys to do this and then practice it on your own. All right, so we're going to stop here for today. Thank you once again. See you in the next video.